All right, welcome back to the third segment of the Harry Thomas Show Week in Review. Today is Sunday, February 3rd, 2008. The website is harrythomas.info, and that's where you can find all the news stories and media that I talk about on any show. Now, let's get right into this election fraud here. Now, last week, some politicians were calling for a recount up in New Hampshire. Vote fraud expert convinced the chain of custody is corrupt. Harris was fundamental in the vetting and production of HBO's special Hacking Democracy and has contributed toward bringing charges against vote frauders who cheated in Ohio in 2004. Now, I have available up in the media section at the website that film, Hacking Democracy, and also Bev Harris's book, Ballot Tampering in the 21st Century, and that is also located at her website at blackboxvoting.org. Harris traveled to New Hampshire personally to discover for herself the disgraceful lapses in chain of custody. She went and was questioning these officials, and this one guy says,
You can't get into this box again without breaking that seal. The seal will conduct a recount.
And so you're saying it's not possible to get anything through the end of the box?
Well, I mean, can you slip something in there right now the way this is? Yes. I mean, you could slip a piece of paper in there. Can you fill the box by doing that? That's no.
And, you know, that is totally bull. You can see where you can reach right into the box and not even take off the seal. But besides that, the seals are easily taken off and put back on. You can reaffix them. Now, Harris is calling for the resignations in the New Hampshire recount fiasco. Vote fraud expert is convinced that that chain of custody is corrupt and that a criminal enterprise is at work. After hooking up with other vote fraud experts, Harris confronted the public officials and pointed out some questions about the chain of custody. The problem was we were either not getting answers or we were getting bizarre answers. I've got up here the Citizen's Guide to Following the Vote Transport Vehicles. If you live in Florida or any of the other Super Duper Tuesday states, your votes are soon going to be toted around the county. But who's transporting them? Is the chain of custody secure? What we found in New Hampshire proves that you can take nothing for granted and that you can be stone cold horrified at what you see. In Volusia County, the polling places had been instructed to drive through a Daytona Speedway drop-off site, hand over their poll tapes and memory cards, and just drive away. In King County, Washington, Kathleen Wynne stationed herself at one of the depot's drop-off sites, and what you have, she observed, was optical scan machines being tossed around and memory card handling in the dark of night. Now, in New Hampshire, Bev followed a van driven by Butch and Hoppy as they careened around the state picking up ballot boxes, delivering them after dark to state archive buildings. Now, this is what they seen when they were unloading the boxes, is that they were all had holes in the side, just like you had seen where you could fit your whole hand in the box. Not only that, there was tape affixed over the official seal, which totally is a red flag, and they're all like this. Every single one of them. You could check it out for yourself. Now, this is just simply horrible and incredible. Albert Howard, a Republican presidential candidate, he said that he identified another problem that leaves the recount wide open to fraud, and that was that the state employees are using the same red ink as the counters. Vote fraud going on all over. It was been reported in Iowa. It's been reported in Louisiana. I mean, this is rampant everywhere, and we need to take control back in our elections. I mean, this is totally out of control, and what's happening is people who are supporting Ron Paul, and they've seen how much support he has, and then all of a sudden the results are coming back from the elections and it's not portrayed, and people are like, well, you know, why bother voting? Why bother contributing to the campaign? Why bother joining up with meetup groups? It doesn't seem to be having an effect, and it doesn't seem to matter. But what it is take a look at that. All the people who support Ron Paul in New Hampshire, one of the most libertarian states in the Union. Now, come on now. What you're seeing is voter fraud. Don't let it discourage you about getting involved in campaigns for freedom. We need to take our country back, and this is what's going on. You're getting false reports through the media. We're having voter and election fraud. This is total vote fraud. And don't let them try to think that you're not making an impact, because you are. And you know what? Go on out and vote anyway. Just to make, give them something to rig. The U.S. election integrity is flawed. These Diebold machines are totally flawed. Harris found out that they had an FTP site in 2002 election, that somebody could go to the FTP site and replace files, voter files, at the FTP site. Multiple problems with electronic voting machines have been reported in Florida as people take to the polls in the latest presidential primary. In Bev's book, Ballot Tampering in the USA, they have chapter 2, Can We Trust These Machines? And in Alabama in 2002, there was, at the general election, there was 6,300 Baldwin County electronic votes mysteriously disappeared after the polls had closed and everybody had gone home. Now, this has happened all over the place. It's happened in Wayne County, North Carolina, Gretna, Nebraska, Omaha, Nebraska, Chicago, the Lake County, Illinois area, Orange County, California, Kane County, Illinois, Clay County, Kansas, and this just goes on and on and on and on. I mean, hundreds and hundreds of places would reported suspicions of election fraud and accountable results of election fraud.
This issue of security, I mean, we move into the technology and it gets even more frightening.
Yes, that's true. And these machines are very hackable. So if a machine is unsupervised for more than a minute, someone could get to it and put in a virus or a hack.
This is crazy.
Exactly. In fact, I learned firsthand from Princeton Professor Edward Felton just how easy it is. This is a Diebold TS machine that is used pretty widely around the country. And this is a hackable machine, is it not?
It takes only about a minute with an unsupervised machine to insert the virus. The voting machine virus is on this memory card. All of the machines apparently use the same key. Anyone who can get the door open and stick in a memory card can insert a virus or do whatever they like.
What to watch for and do during and after Superpower Tuesday. What you need to watch for is access to the voting, the voter rolls, the fairness, deceptive practices, keep an eye on, counting the votes. Who is counting the votes? All right, you need to watch for registrations hijacked to another party, omissions and improper additions to the voter rolls, and what to do. Gather evidence, documents, record video, audio, take photographs, preserve and keep gathering proof until after the election is over. These things could be key. Keep an eye on who's transporting your votes after you vote. I mean, come on now. This is America. We need to take back our country. These voting discrepancies and this election fraud has been going on for decade after decade after decade, and it's time to take back control of our country through our voting election system. Please get involved today. I mean, this stuff has been well documented if you just take the time out to research it for yourself. We can't stand for this anymore in America. At what point will you say no more? And I will be back in the next segment to talk about a whole bunch more corruption.
Quiet on the set. They're always acting, keeping posture and poise. Let's bring an end of the tyrants and the good old boys. Yeah, would you listen to a poet or a prophet, journal all this world's injustice, or try and stop it? Can you feel the coming change? Though hell is here today, hope is on its way. Hear them now, the careless and the calloused waking up. Those underground need a saving, some way out of their